Carter Price from the House FM here with John of Skillet. Hey, you doing okay?
I'm doing awesome.
Good. How was the tour so far? This is the second date.
Second date. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
So many great bands. I mean, it's from the start to the close. It's a lot of great people up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best lineups I've ever been a part of. So
I got to ask about you and Corey being in the band for so long, husband and wife. I asked, do you know Loving the Outcome? Have you heard of their song He Is With Us? They are a husband and wife duo, and I asked them about how they get along with working
right.
and being married, and they kind of blew it off. They're like, oh, lots of coffee. I need to know. Give me some details. What's how is that? And for so long, too. Obviously, you guys work something out where I'm sure you get along just fine working now, but in the beginning...
Well, it's hard work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, anybody married knows that it doesn't matter how great your spouse is. It's just hard to be around anybody in the world 24 hours a day.
Right.
All day long. And so it definitely takes a lot of trial and error. I don't know how many dudes watching are as dumb as me, but I think,
every one of them. Me?
I think we're all kind of like that. You know, we take a long time to learn stuff. You know, we don't really understand what's going on, and I think it's been a lot of trial and error. But I think we finally really, gotten a hold of, all right, this is how we do it. So I just want to be realistic about it. It is hard work. But I think that we've always done very well with it. And that's partly because Corey is very comfortable being a background role. Mm-hmm. She enjoys that. She doesn't like to be in the limelight, do interviews and talk and sing.
Uh-huh.
And she likes to kind of support, whereas I'm kind of a natural lead singer guy. It's all about me all the time, apparently.
You're the oldest guy.
So we do work very well together. And I will say that we are, so unified in our passion for what we do that, and the calling, the calling of God on what we do, that yes, it has its hard moments, but we always have the end game in our mind. You know, we're going for the same thing. It's a struggle to get there.
And I imagine if there is something you're screaming that night, you're playing a rock show, you can get some of that out. Where you're just like, yeah!
There have been those times when all right, we're delaying this fight till after the show, because you got a job to do, you know, and go up there and do your thing. And but it works. We find a good way to make it happen. We have 2 kids on the road as well.
I
have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old, and so everything is just regimented out. This is our lives.
What do they do for fun when they're on tour? They're surrounded by adults probably 24/7.
They are. They play with each other really well, which is a blessing. Some siblings don't, just if it's a boy and a girl. Mm-hmm. They play together great, and they get along with all the people. My kids they've grown up around adults, so they would feel comfortable talking to you and sharing their opinions and their beliefs, and so they make a lot of friends on the tour. People are always really nice to them, and they might go throw a football with some of the guys or some of the other people on the tour, things like that. They do school on the road, they're homeschooled, so a lot of their time is eaten up with school activities that they have to do while we're out doing interviews and such. Yeah,
they're working on math right now, basically.
They better be.
Or they're grounded.
They better be doing their arithmetic.
And reading and writing, So we've talked before, and I just talking to We As Human, who they were like, we've played with some great bands lately. Third Day, Korn, and they were, they kind of get both styles. And you've played those tours too. You've Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, and what's that like going back and forth? And I'm sure it's the same message each time, but a little different.
It is different, In fact, we were at this venue with We As Human about 6 or 8 months ago with a mainstream tour, and I love it. Now, I've always felt called to do Christian music in the mainstream world, and I've known that calling since I was young. And you never know how that may work if God opens those doors. If you go where He leads you to do it. So I personally love it. I love evangelism, and I love talking to those people on the fringe. It's the people that would run away from church. Mm-hmm. They'd say, I would never step into there. I would never listen to Christian music. I would never listen to a preacher. And I think Skillet is a good band to the way our lyrics are projected are they are a little bit nebulous. They're a little bit hidden meanings. They're more like parables than they are, sermons. And so Skillet is a good band to kind of come in and throw out those seeds. And we've seen people come to the Lord. Even some of the bands we toured with, we've seen like radical transformation, salvation from some of these singers and other players in the band. So that's really cool. Yeah, it is funny though, going from one show to the next. I will say the audience is just a little different. The way they receive you is a little bit different.
Right.
You know? So the rock world is very much, like you said, it's very much like, rah, and people are naturally scary. And so people coming to the events, that's what they expect, and they're not. But coming to a Christian event, you tame it down just a little bit, because a lot of people coming tonight that are Toby Mac fans may have never seen like a full-on rock show. And Skillet might be a little bit much. But, I think 5-10 minutes in, people get a sense that we're nice people and that we're just having a good time and expressing who we are in Christ,
With the name Skillet, I mean, you've been around for so long that it's not like I don't wonder this, but if you had just come on the scene, I would think that you guys are big like Rachel Ray fans or something. Like, where did Skillet? Where did that come from?
Yeah, it was the mid '90s, which is. Kind of answers a little bit of that question.
That's it. It was the 90s. That's all.
90s, for people that don't remember or weren't born watching, 90s was like the weirder the better, it was Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Korn. Those are the names of 4 of the biggest rock bands in the world. So it was a time when like things that were abstract were cool, and so Skillet had just kind of like a dumbness to it that was kind of cool at the time. But the reason it started is because Skillet, all the band members were from different bands, and it was my pastor actually that said, "Hey John, I think you should start a side project with Ken, this other guy from this other band. I bet you guys would work good together." And I said, "Oh, maybe we will." And then we got a different drummer from another band, and somebody said, "Man, you guys are all from different bands. It's like putting all these different ingredients in a skillet."
Okay, all right.
Making up something,
and that stuck.
And so my pastor said, "You should call it Skillet. That'd be funny."
So what year did Skillet get together?
96.
96. Okay.
We got together and recorded our first record in the same year.
So I wonder, because Jen is your drummer since 07, 08.
Yeah.
And she was like born in like 90.
Yeah.
So how does that? Is there some like where you got to explain like cultural things to her? Like you weren't around in 92.
Definitely, it's funny, when I gave her songs to audition for, her list of songs. She didn't know any of the bands. And I was just thinking, how can you not have heard of Nirvana?
Yeah.
POD, and how is this possible? And I didn't realize she was so young, And she's from England, which, rock music is just vacant in England. And it's becoming vacant in America, too. But in England at the time, they didn't grow up with rock. It was just dance music, electronics. So it's always a funny thing getting younger people in your group and, realizing how fast culture is changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's changing faster than ever now.
Yeah.
With the internet, with all this media, it's like every 6 months there's the brand new trend.
Right.
It used to not be that way. So.
Yeah. There's the Harlem Shake, and that's way old now.
Right.
It's crazy. You're sticking with it though. You got the beard. You got the hair. You're
just doing my thing.
You're still cool.
Just doing my thing.
Well, hey, John of Skillet, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Good to talk to you.